I have no intention of firing him. I would like to see him be a little more active in terms of his idea to lower interest rates. This is a perfect time to lower interest rates. If he doesn't, is it the end? No, it's not, but it would be good timing.
My economic source was the Treasury Secretary under President Clinton and also the Director of the National Economic Council under President Obama. Larry Summers, great to have you here tonight. You heard the president there on Fed Chair Jay Powell. He sounded a lot over the last few days like he wanted him out. There were real questions about this. We saw some White House aides changing their views on it. I wonder what you make of what he had to say tonight.
Look, I'm an economist, not a psychologist. I don't understand why the president says one thing one day and then the opposite the next day. Here's what I know. When the president pursues the distinctive elements of his economic program, more tariffs, more pressure on the Federal Reserve, more challenges to legal institutions, more pressure on the budget deficit. When he pursues his program more aggressively, markets plummet. When he backs off of all of his ideas and returns things to normal, markets rally. That's all one has to know. And markets look forward. And so they're making a judgment that the president's new ideas in economic policy, the tariffs, the Fed bashing, the challenges to rules of law, are very bad ideas that will do much damage to the economy. And markets recognize that, and capital flees the United States when it looks like he's going to act on those ideas. And when it looks like he was just talking, then there's more confidence and people pull back and markets normalize. But it's got to be an unfortunate circumstance where the president not being true to his word, not carrying through on his promises and threats is what markets are desperately hoping for. That's the mark of a country that, in a sense, is not in reasonable control, not seen as being governed in a serious and competent way.
I mean, we saw the markets going up after just some comments that the Treasury Secretary had made behind closed doors today, not even on camera. They were just reported about in terms of the trade war with China. But what he said on China tonight I thought was also really significant, because he called the 145% tariffs that he's put in place here very high. And at one point in the Oval Office, he told reporters, and I'm quoting the president now, it will come down substantially. I do think there's a question to your point there of, does that last, or, you know, does China see that as the damage has been done here?
I can't judge. I don't understand why the Secretary of the Treasury is having meetings in private with large groups of investors to give him the benefit of their thinking. That seems very unfair and seems like the stuff of crony capitalism. I don't know what the president is going to do next. I do, as an economist, have very strong ideas about what's in our country's interest. And the further away we move from the Liberation Day program, the better it will be for the economic prospects of the country, and the more positively markets will react.
Well, and he was speaking to a private investment conference that was hosted by JP Morgan here in Washington in reference to what you said about Besant. Can I also ask you, though, because tonight, one thing that we've been covering here a lot on the show is what's been happening in this huge billion-dollar fight that's playing out with Harvard. You're not only the former Treasury Secretary, you're also the former president of Harvard. And given this lawsuit that we've seen playing out, which actually the list of demands was sent inadvertently to Harvard, we were told, the New York Times reported. What do you know about how this is shaking out? Is the president there trying to meet with President Trump directly? What's your view of this?
I would assume that Harvard is insisting on the prescribed procedures contained in law being followed, that there be a notification of the concern with respect to discrimination, that there be dialogue and discussion, that there be a tailoring of remedies to the problem, that there be public notification rather than the government just extra legally freezing funds. And so Harvard is, just because Harvard is a substantial institution, doesn't mean that it lacks due process rights under the Constitution and under the statute that the Trump administration is invoking. So I think Harvard for now is insisting on treatment that's consistent with law. And my strong hope and my expectation is that the judiciary will back Harvard on that issue, because it seems to me plain to anybody who reads the statute that the Trump administration is in massive violation of the law.
We'll see how this plays out. We've heard some lawyers think that they have a good argument. We'll see. Larry Summers, appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also tonight, the Trump administration, as we've been reporting, is holding 2 graduate students in ICE detention facilities in Louisiana. Neither have yet been charged with a crime, but my next source did just meet with both of them. Senator Ed Markey will join me on the other side of the break. Don't miss it.
My eyes, they're dry, uncomfortable, looking for extra hydration. Now there's Blink NutriTears. It works differently than drops. Blink NutriTears is a once-daily supplement, clinically proven to hydrate from within, helping your eyes produce more of their own tears. To promote lasting, continuous relief you'll feel day after day. Try Blink NutriTears. A different way to support dry eyes.
Blink NutriTears.
I don't really like committing to things. I'm scared. But when Verizon announced that I could lock in a low price for 3 years, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Can you hear me now?
When you're the leader, disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never